Sexual harassment cases can be difficult to understand without demonstration. Let's examine a couple of scenarios so we can better identify sexual harassment in the workplace. Tim and Sally are co-workers. They talk during their breaks and like to joke around whenever they can by sending each other funny images. Tim took it too far one day by showing her a selfie with his shirt off. It was meant to be silly, so Sally tried to shrug it aside. But that apparently opened the way for more suggestive images and comments. Sally asks him to stop sending those kinds of messages, but he doesn't seem to take her seriously. When she tells her manager and starts ignoring Tim's texts, Tim turns the situation back on her by saying she should not have been so willing to go along with his jokes. She feels she didn't go along with them, but convincing him of that seems pointless. Rather than trying to decide who is right and who is wrong in this scenario, let's focus on what matters. An employee is feeling threatened, uncomfortable, and harassed by another. Regardless of how it came about or what actions or inactions led to it, the important fact remains that it has gotten out of hand for someone. How it is handled next will determine not only whether these two employees can continue to work together, but how others will view those involved. Avoid conforming to the belief that someone asked for it. Sally didn't ask Tim to send her explicit materials. Instead, think about what can be done. Helping repair the relationship may be a viable option, but both individuals should be talked to independently so that they can air their grievances. If the parties choose not to resolve the matter on their own, relocating or rescheduling their shifts so they don't have to interact is one solution. However, the manager must be careful to not unfairly punish the victim for the incident by making them upend their work life. Make it known that sexual harassment will not be tolerated. Whether disciplinary action should be taken or not, it is up to management, and depends on the situation. In this case, requiring Tim's communications be monitored during work hours or moving him to a different shift might be best. Let's try another. Betty is an employee of Ferdinand. Word around the company is that Betty has a romantic female partner, and Ferdinand is curious about that fact. He invites Betty to come to a football game viewing at his house with some other male coworkers. Betty doesn't like football, but she attends anyway for the opportunity to interact with them. At the gathering, Betty chats with her coworkers while the others watch the game. Even though she's the only woman there, she feels at ease with the group. But whenever Betty happens to be alone with her boss, he asks questions about her sexuality until finally his overt suggestions and touches become too personal for her. Okay, let's analyze the situation. Before you resort to the belief that Betty shouldn't have gone to an all-male after-hour social event, I'd like you to recognize that sex shouldn't be an indicator as to whether a person should be included or excluded from an event. Doing so would be discrimination. And blaming her for thinking it was nothing more than a social gathering of coworkers steps over the fact that her boss is the one who crossed a line, not her. Ferdinand should not have made assumptions about his employee because of her sex or sexuality, nor should he have invited her for the sole purpose of taking advantage of her or testing her or whatever his reasoning may have been for touching her in an inappropriate way. Hopefully now you can see how sexual harassment can creep into an established dynamic between two people. Sometimes all it takes is one wrong comment or one inappropriate gesture to put a person on edge. Although each individual has their own threshold, we should all aim to be cognizant of how others feel and how our actions might affect them. Now that we can better identify sexual harassment, let's explore what can be done about it.